Before we begin, I want you to allow the body to arrive. This conversation is for those whose minds carry weight for a living, decisions, vigilance, responsibility, constant interpretation, that kind of work that keeps the nervous system alert long after the workday ends. Today, we are not discussing productivity. We are not chasing optimization. We are examining preservation, how clarity is maintained when cognitive demand stays high, how rest becomes an active discipline rather than an accidental reward. Tea appears here not as a lifestyle accessory, but as a psychological signal, a pause the body understands when the mind catches up, a quiet ritual that interprets depletion, and it also restores internal order. I want you to listen slowly. Nothing here needs to be rushed. The value of this conversation lives in what you notice, not how quickly you agree. I need to tell you thank you. We are with Dr. Cooper this morning, and she reached out to let me know that she was enjoying her teas. And I'm thinking to myself, why not take this opportunity then to not only introduce Dr. Cooper to my following, but also to those that might be interested in finding out how she interfaces with tea on her daily as well. And that is aristocratic tea. So welcome, Dr. Cooper. Is there anything you want to share about yourself with my following, maybe about the work you do, the amazing work you do?
Let's see. I am a counseling psychologist in St. Louis, Missouri. And I've been practicing for over 20 years. I have a practice, which I have a staff of about 5, 6 other counselors. And we've been doing this for a long time. I've been assistant professors. I still teach online. I do forensic psychology work. I do a few different things. I also do a lot of, media and social media. But, I enjoy what I do, and I enjoy talking about what I do in public spaces, like in community settings, on TV, on social media, because it helps people to understand a bit more about what mental health is and how important it is.
Absolutely. I do want to also ask about how this process with even our tea experiences has impacted what it is that you do. Have you found yourself looking for your tea from time to time, or has it become a part of your ritual? If so, in what way?
It has become a part of my ritual. Before I knew about your tea line, I was drinking coffee probably 3 to 4 days a week. For the caffeine, for just the feel of the coffee. You kind of get into this, got to have your coffee, the smell and all that. But I don't think it was agreeing with me anymore. And I got to the point where, strange things happen. You can call it serendipity or the universe, but I felt like I began to develop a bit of an aversion for coffee. So it didn't give me the same thing, and the smell of it would almost make me kind of get sick. So I started, I was like, let me try to see if the tea can give me the same feeling. And it did. It gave me not only like the boost of the caffeine, and I live in St. Louis in the Midwest. It's cold here. So it's very important during the wintertime to drink something that's hot or warm. So it gives me that. But it also gives me something that I don't think I was able to get from the coffee, which was a sense of serenity, meditation, and like a time to kind of slow down the pace. And I don't know if I was expecting to have that with it, but it was definitely a welcome benefit.
It's interesting. One of the things that you mentioned was the smell of it. And I too am very much attracted to the smell. Growing up, that is what my father drank. That is what the elders drank. It was just a part of their Saturday morning thing that I really, remember smelling. But I remember during the pandemic, I was trying to get into coffee as well. And I learned early on that I was not into coffee, I was into cream and sugar.
Oh,
And so there was one time I threw my coffee pot away and I went back to the trash can for something. And I told my husband, it smells like cigarette butts. Like the after effect of it was just off putting. And I'm thinking, my goodness. But it does, as the years go on, it does kind of affect us differently. And I've heard quite a few ladies mention now of my repeat customers that their doctors have actually told them to move away from the coffee and those caffeine jolts. And that tea does a better job of giving you that smooth transition up. And it doesn't give you that drop that typically that coffee and that caffeine gives when you are a typical sipper of that coffee as well. Now, one of the things that you also mentioned was I heard you infer rest in your discussion with me. And as you were talking about that, it just made me start thinking, how now are you using tea as a source or as a center for rest? Is there anything special you do in that space?
before I answer that, hold on. I'm going to close my window because I'm afraid you're going to get too much background. Hold on.
Sure, no problem.
There we go. All right.
Yes.
Okay. So, how now? Say the question again.
Rephrase. Okay, so I was saying that as you were saying, there as different stages in our lives, as we move through, we find that there are certain things that have to have adjustments as well. And you found that drinking coffee was one of the adjustments you had to make. You moved away from coffee and moved into tea, and that it also gave that calming effect. And so my question is now, um, how has your understanding of rest changed since now sipping tea? As your responsibilities, the identity, the pace, all of that stuff has evolved. So, how does tea center in that process?
It really helps me in that where I was really attempting to move to in my life was to create more balance,
Mm.
better balance between work and home and leisure. And so it really fit in well with that, to allow me the time to kind of slow down and reflect.
Mhm.
Take some time just to pause. I really can't explain it. I wish I could, but it's something about the coffee that does not incline one to do that, doesn't make you want to slow down.
Right.
It makes you want to speed up. So I don't know how much of that is contextual or psychological, but it definitely did that for me. So, and for me, it really depends on if I'm in my office, which is where I'm in now, because in the office is where I associate with work. So it's even more important for me to be able to slow things down and um, just kind of take a break from the hustle and bustle and the pressures and the deadlines that I have here. Now, I was always able to use tea at home to drink
Yes.
tea and to relax, especially like I said, when it's cold here. In the wintertime, get under a blanket to watch TV.
Mhm.
But in the office, I hadn't ever really considered that it would be able to feel any need of what I did on a day-to-day basis.
Mhm.
So once I started to use it, I was able to see that. And I think the other thing that was a surprise benefit from the tea is that I think for coffee, people smell coffee, everyone knows coffee. They
Right.
smell it, they're like, okay, that's coffee. But it's something about when people smell tea,
Yes.
like when my clients come in for therapy and they smell the tea, they're always like, what flavor is that? Like, what
Yes.
is that? Like, I've never smelled. And they're trying to identify the spices and the Like, where did you get that? Where does it? So it becomes more of a conversation piece than I think coffee does, at
Mhm.
least.
Mhm. I think even in that, I hear you speaking about focus in the office as well. And focus really costs us more than we're willing to admit in many cases. And how has tea supported your ability to even focus in the office and help you concentrate without burning all the way through all of your energy?
Well, it helps me, and I'm not sure if it's the flavors, because I
Okay.
will say this for people. I'm a creature of habit. Like, I'm not a person that's gonna go into a restaurant and try everything on the menu. I'm gonna get what I like and I'm gonna stick to it. So for me, it could be the flavors that I choose. I really like the peach. The peach is what I do, and I don't know what it is about the peach. I don't know if it reminds me of peach cobbler, if it reminds me of home. But I like the peach, and it does something for me. The other one I use is the chai,
Yes.
and the spices in it that really, for lack of a better word, I would say that I feel that it grounds me, the
Mhm.
spices and the scents and the taste. So it helps me to focus, because on any given day, when I'm in my office and if I'm doing therapy on those days, I might see 7 to 8 people back to back to back. And then in the midst of that, deal with staff issues, administrative issues,
Mhm.
other issues, requests for other things. So it just becomes a busy day. So I've learned that for me, if I come in the morning before all of that gets started,
Mhm.
then I'm able to kind of sit, reflect, meditate, and
Mhm.
really plan my day better.
So is that a space where you are able to sip your tea to kind of rejuvenate and feel like yourself again after having to deal with all of the things that your day to day brings to you?
But for me, I feel like it works better in the morning
Okay.
before I get into it, because once I get into it, it's just like go, 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 go.
Mhm.
And then a lot of days I work 12-hour days. So
Oh,
it's really hard to get centered after seeing people all day, hearing problems, hearing trauma all day,
yeah.
and then to get centered at that. However, I will say that once I'm home, if I have time, if I'm not doing anything else when I get home, I'm able to do it when I get home.
Hmm.
But that brings up a different issue. What I learned, for me, I live in a house full of men. I have 2 young adult sons, 19 and 23, and then my husband. And I've learned, for me, that I like, so if I take it home, then they know about it.
Ah,
And
okay,
then
so
they're
you
going to want to
actually
drink it.
you froze for a moment there. So you were saying that when you get home with your three adult men, and then it just froze.
Oh, okay. So I was saying that I've learned, for me, that since I live with 3 men who are not the best stewards of important things, I leave my tea in the office. I don't take it home so that they can use it.
Okay.
So,
Yes.
but what that means for me is, then I'm at home on the weekends and I'm forgetting. I'm like, oh, my tea. I didn't bring my tea. I left my tea in the office. So
Right.
I have to kind of just get new routines together. I'll take a pod home on the weekend. I can stick that in my purse, but
Right.
I refuse to take a whole box of anything there, because then before I know it, I'll look over and it'd be one left.
Be shared.
Yeah, they'll be like, and they won't even appreciate it. They'll be like, oh, well, I don't know what flavor that was, but it was good. And then it's gone. So for me, it helps to know that I need to know how many I have left and all of
Yes.
that. So it's
And the
easier for
good
me.
thing, that's a wonderful thing. Now, and you remember that you were able to re-steep those a few times.
Oh, the pods, right?
Yes.
So I have tried that before, but now I'm thinking about it, I might switch over to the loose leaf,
Okay.
because that might travel better with the reusable.
That's true. Now, I hear on the weekends relaxation. What does relaxation mean to you? For me, I learned that I really did not know how to relax. We would go on vacation, and relaxation to me would mean sleeping, but that's
Mm.
not always what relaxation is. So, give us your own definition of relaxation for Dr. Cooper.
That's a good question. when I think back on like when my boys were younger, I felt the same way as you. I felt that relaxation meant sleep.
Mm-hmm.
But as my boys got older, I realized that, well, let me add that I thought this relaxation meant sleep or the absence of parental responsibilities.
Mm-hmm.
And not that that not is not true, but now what I've learned is that rest or relaxation for me is about really having the agency to decide
Ooh.
on what I want to do, if I want to do nothing or if I want to do less of something, and when I want to do it and for how long I want to do it.
Mm.
So for me, I've learned that that's rest, like having the freedom and ability to do so, like without consequence.
Permission.
Yeah, like not without needing permission, just being able to do it.
Oh,
Um, and I do think that is harder for women or moms who have younger children because they still do rely on you for certain things.
mhm.
But as they get older, like once they pass basically the age of 6 or 7, they can survive in another room without you. They
Yes.
can watch a television show, read a book or something without you. But so many times women with children feel as though they have to be on all the time. And it's really a fallacy. You don't have to be on all the time. No one has to be on all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You have to realize quickly as a mom, as a working woman, that nothing will fall apart without you in 30 minutes.
That's beautiful. I mean, first of all, I could just give a standing ovation for that alone. That in of itself is the entirety of what it is that we have going now. Giving yourself agency, knowing that you have agency to give yourself permission to decide, and that that's solely up to you. I am enthralled with that completely. Um, I know that there are so many spaces that we feel as women, and many times layered responsibilities. Um, Even as that, as a trained person in this area, where do you feel the most invisible pressure to keep going?
I would say family for me,
Mm-hmm.
but then it balances out with work because like having owning a practice and employing other people,
Mm-hmm.
it's easy when it was just me because if I didn't make money or if I was broke, I was just broke. But
Right.
if now with other people depending on me and knowing that their families rely on them adds a different level of pressure. But I don't think it even compares to the pressure I feel from the home obligations or the expectations. I think sometimes as women, we have these grand expectations that we think other people have of us. Sometimes they're accurate, sometimes they're not. So, like just having a spouse
That's
uh, and needing to be available for a spouse, and by available, I don't mean just physically available, like in the house, but being mentally and emotionally available. That's a whole different level
mm-hmm.
because I can definitely say after hearing trauma all day, it's very difficult to go home and listen to anything else. I don't care if it's
Yes.
a nursery rhyme. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a mind switch, but it's also I think that's where the tea comes in to keep you at peace
Mm-hmm.
so that you are able to be there for people and knowing also that sometimes being there doesn't mean you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to cook this, you have to go. You don't have to do any of that. Sometimes you just have to simply be present.
Mm, I love that. I shared with a group of ladies earlier. Someone asked the question, why tea? And I said that tea to me is an anchor, if you will. And what happens is when we start thinking about things in the past, there is regret there. And then when we start thinking about things that we need to do a little bit later, there is anxiety waiting for us there. But the only moment that we have true peace is the present moment. And when I'm sipping my tea, I'm thinking about what is present and what is real and what is accessible to me within my reach. And so that is where tea anchors me in the present moment. And so I'm thinking about how it tastes, how it's making me feel in that moment, and What is it really just causing me to think about in that space? And it's beautiful there. And so I have used tea in all of those ways to kind of anchor me, if you will. And so to hear you speak about those layers that we have to kind of peel back just to get to ourselves. And although I'm not into psychology at all, I still am in that space sometimes when my family comes home. There are times that I don't want to hear any talking, no television, no radio, nothing. I just want quiet. And I'm grateful to have that space and to have that real opportunity. And I share that with my family to let them know this is my time right now. And when I'm ready, I'll come on out. I have created a space in my house where I can go and, as the old folks would say, still away and just be. I can paint my nails there and, all of those things. And so I appreciate your response to that. I think it's so open. I think it's honest as well. Um, Even when we're thinking about that, many times we've seen rest in times past as a reward. And rest is not a reward, rest is a requirement. How would you explain that to someone that is fighting this whole thing about rest being indulgent, if you will?
You know what? It's a sermon I preach every day, every with women in therapy. And most of these women are millennial or Generation X women. Sometimes baby boomer women. But it's just that as women, I think society has made us feel that we have to do in order to be valued. And I also think the Black community does a number on us as well by making us feel like not only do we have to do and work, but we have to hold down the families and the marriages and children single-handedly while not holding the other counterparts as responsible. So I think that puts us in a bit of a conundrum many times, and we see ourselves overworking, overextending, people pleasing. I see it time and time again, day in, day out. And it doesn't matter if the women have grown up on the East Coast, West Coast, South, Midwest, you see the same patterns.
So true.
And so women have to get to a space in their lives where usually how it happens is they are so exhausted that they break. And then that break is what tells them, oh, I can't keep doing this anymore. Because it's just like they say when we're on the plane, right? You have to put your mask on before you can put their mask on. And people don't see rest in the same way, but it is the same way because you can't pour from an empty cup. So you, as a woman, as a mom, as a wife, as a teacher, as a therapist, you have to always make sure that your cup is full.
Absolutely.
And that's something I learned even probably before I became a therapist. And it's only for me because I've always been a sleeper. Like there are some people like even at 18, like my friends want to go out and I'm like, we can go out, but I gotta take a nap first. So I've always understood the value of sleep.
Yes.
But I've never, until I got middle age, understood the value of rest and the freedom to do nothing.
I love that. I can acknowledge that all of that you're saying is just spot on. And while I knew and understood to my own degree of understanding about the importance of rest, it was not until this year, actually, that I learned what rest meant for me. And it meant unplugging. And even from those silent responsibilities that I had to family, I was the family member that was always involved with getting everyone together and doing this for that one and doing this for that. And then when I finally decided to just choose me, and choosing me meant I might not do anything today. I might not answer the phone. I might just decide to live on do not disturb for 2 weeks at a time. And it felt amazing. And all of a sudden, I'm thinking, oh, it's beautiful around here and I am enough. I am abundant. Like I am not having to pour from an empty cup in hopes that someone would pour back into me. that is truly solely my responsibility. And having these epiphanies as I sip my tea many times, it's like, oh, I need to go write that down, or oh, I need to just, and other times it's like, no, just sit in that. Just steep in your own advice. Just take this moment and allow it to just brew for a while, if you will. And that has been beautiful to me in 2025. And so I am very expectant of 2026. And I'll get into one of the reasons why I decided to do it quickly is because I know that if Kamala Harris had won, because I certainly did vote for her, I know that I would be out there grassroots cheering and rooting and preparing others and getting folks on the move about things. And because she didn't, it was my time to sit back and unplug and to say, hey, wait a minute, what about me? And that's where all of this came from. So it has been a beautiful transition to learning, loving, and resting in 2025. So we're going to get prepared to wrap this up. I wanted to, again, thank you so much, Dr. Cooper, for just etching out this stitching time with us and for sharing your perspective. What tea are you sipping on this morning?
This morning I am drinking the peach.
Oh,
that's the one I have the most of.
Yes, yes. And you have been a repeat buyer of the peach. Have you tried any others? So you mentioned chai.
I think those are the only two. You can give me some suggestions for things that will be similar.
Okay. Well, what I'll do is I need to send you our scented whispers. There's 7 different flavors in one tea, and it smells and tastes like a bouquet of goodness and mercy. It is amazing. I've even added cream to mine once or twice, but I can lose my way with cream and sugar sometimes, so I had to back off of that. But it is a dessert in and of itself too. And I need to get you some vanilla rooibos, which is a caffeine free. That is a loose leaf tea. It's from Africa, and it is outstanding. So I'm going to have to send those to you just on the fact that you are our first guest this morning, and that I want you to try it out and just, again, let us know what your thoughts were surrounding it. As I close this out, I want to share that the thing that stuck out to me the most was what rest means to you. And essentially, it is having the agency to decide. And if that is not a very timely word for us this morning, then this is just where it all ends and begins for me. I love that. And I think I'm able to share that with so many others. And I trust that others that will watch this will take away from that too and feel lighter, feel as if they can fly with that information. Anything that you want to share?
I hope so. No, and I would definitely encourage people to try the teas out because you have such a wide range of flavors and the stories behind them. And I think it's just amazing. It's one of the things I feel like that is, it will allow us, like the tea and the time you take to sip the tea, allows you to get centered and grounded again. And use that time to connect with yourself, to connect with your ancestors, to reflect on what it is you want to do. Like as we roll into the new year, like you decide how you want your year to be.
I love that. Thank you again, Dr. Cooper. We certainly appreciate you, and we look forward to having you again and again and again.
Definitely.
All right, you take care.
Bye.
So let us close without any level of urgency. What you heard today was not a prescription. It was a pattern. High cognitive load does not require more effort. It requires containment. Structured, repeated signals of safety that allow clarity to return without force. The ritual described is small by design, but it's a constant cup, a deliberate pause, a moment where the body is given permission to downshift before the mind is ever asked to perform again. Repetition is what it gives. in the form of authority. But I want you to carry this one question with you after this ends. Where in your day are you asking for clarity without first offering calm? Do not answer that immediately now. Let it surface on its own. Your tea will wait. The silence will wait. Your nervous system already knows the way forward.